Welcome. Today is April 19th, 2022. Welcome to the On Fire Fridays, presented by Ron Parisi, yours truly, with CPA on Fire. CPA on Fire, right? We help online entrepreneurs during their growth phase. With growth comes complexity, and we help manage that complexity for growing online entrepreneurs, particularly in the financial operations of their company, which is hugely important. And I think one of the most neglected. Obviously, you can't have a business without marketing and sales, but very rarely can you be profitable without a strong financial operations. And we're looking not to leave any money on the table. Tax planning, profitability, looking at profit drivers, growth drivers. But anyway, nonetheless, today is August 19th, 2022. The topic du jour is the Inflation Act of 2022, just passed both the House and Senate and signed by our President, Joe Biden. And yes, a $700 billion bill. I think the numbers at this point, I think it's hard to comprehend, but I really would like to talk. I was just on John Lee Dumas's Entrepreneurs on Fire talking about this. You can pick that up, the podcast, during the tax and accounting tip. But today I'm really just going to hone in on the future for how we are going to file our taxes. I think that this bill is going to, of the $700 billion, $80 billion is earmarked for the IRS. Almost half of that is for enforcement. So exactly, and the enforcement piece is the real driver behind making this a cash positive bill. So I don't know exactly what that means. I know the IRS has thrown out that they're looking for 80,000 new IRS agents. It's a good number. In relationship, they've lost 50,000 to retirements, I think, in the last 5 years. So, I'm not too scared of the fact that they're hiring 80,000, but I do think that, how we file our taxes, the enforcement piece, but more importantly, the software piece, there's going to be a lot more sort of behind the scenes matching. We've seen a big push for 1099s. Those of us that run businesses, 1099 employee versus employee, contractor versus employee discussions, making sure we're getting rents out, making sure we get any services above $600 that we pay for via the 1099. We've seen the compliance piece being pushed pretty heavily on that. So, that's sort of the backdrop on how, the IRS is going to start enforcing. We've seen 1099Ks for the credit cards. So I think there's going to be a lot more, that's just sort of the tip of the iceberg on sort of matching payments and transactions to people's bank accounts and being able to sort of back end audit our tax returns. So I think, one is there's going to be, I think, a lot more software development on the preparation piece of the return, that I would hope that over time that those, making just a W-2 with some simple interest and dividends, that process would get a lot easier for folks. And that, potentially for those of us who are entrepreneurs, who have S Corps, partnerships, 1065s, 1120Ss, that it would as well potentially get easier. There's nothing really in the act that's changed. There's some corporate law or corporate tax return buybacks, and there's a minimum corporate tax return or tax rate of 15%. Not really going to affect us too much unless you're a C Corp. But from at least what I've initially read, there's not too much substantial change for the online entrepreneur, except that there's going to be a lot of change coming down the pipe. And we don't know exactly what that change, but I would hope that things will get easier as far as software, as far as interaction with the IRS, but also to this enforcement piece, we're really going to see more. Are we going to see more audits in our space? They seem to throw around the $400,000 mark. Is this like the chance of audit's going to go higher if you make over $400,000, and it's going to stay the same if you make less? I don't know, considering how few people make over $400,000, but in the relationship to everybody else. But again, more to be seen later. But I just wanted to kind of throw this video out there, at least get everybody's thinking about, okay, we have the Inflation Act. How's this going to impact me? Okay, no direct impacts as far as rates or anything like that, but there is going to be a substantial change, and that's how the IRS conducts their business, both on, I think, a software interaction front, as well as an enforcement piece. So again, Ron Parisi, always love being with you for On Fire Fridays, our On Fire system built for you, the online entrepreneur, to help you manage your financial operations. If you're interested, check us out, cpaonfire.com. And you guys have a wonderful Friday and a great weekend. Thanks now.